What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com, the Olympia. Now, I love nothing more than meeting everyone out there. I love nothing more than hugging everybody. I love nothing more than meeting everybody. I love going to trade shows. I absolutely love it. It's a love-hate relationship. It's a lot of work. I got to be honest. Being on your game, talking to people, trying to give everyone a good experience meeting you while explaining your products, perhaps talking to retailers if they show up, which that hasn't really been the case in the last probably 5-6 years. We used to get a lot of international distributors and retailers show up. You just don't get those anymore. But honestly, I don't care about that because without the customer, our brands don't exist. So I want to make sure I get to know everybody. I want to know like what you ate for breakfast. I want to know about your family life. I want to know what your troubles are. If there's any questions I can help you with, I love them. However, that being said, I'm not going to be at the Olympia this year. I'm probably not going to go to the Arnold. And we might do some trade shows, but it's really not going to be a focus. And let me explain. So Ambrosia has gotten to a point where it hasn't outgrown the Olympia. There are just better uses of our time. For example, with the reach we have with Kevin Gates, with Mike Rashid, with everyone involved in the company, it really doesn't make sense to spend our investment on that. We could just host our own events, which we do a lot of times. We've done a few at our gym, Iron Addicts in Long Beach or Signal Hill, California. We do a lot of events ourselves, but we're also spending a lot of time doing different trade shows, such as Expo West. A few weeks ago, I went to a plant-based expo at the Javits Center in New York. So that brand has grown where we're hitting different markets, going different places, and we're presenting to big accounts like Sprouts, like Whole Foods. So things like that where we're actually going out there and we're meeting with these people where they're at, right? Like that plant-based expo, I met with 10 different accounts there, and I met a lot of different people. Sure, it wasn't as cool as seeing you guys, our consumers, but when I go on a business trip, I can meet a lot of people just driving around locally. I meet more people going to random gyms when I travel on business than anywhere. The main reason I'm not going to the Olympia, besides that's the macro picture. My son plays football, and they're in their playoffs. So to go to the Olympia, I'm a coach of his team. They're undefeated. I think they beat their opponents by a combined in, I believe, 8 games, 306-6. We've given up 1 touchdown all year. So I really enjoy doing that, and I don't want to miss that. But even if he wasn't playing football, I don't see me going to the Olympia. The cost to go to these shows, and they're not selling shows anymore. There are some people who can get by selling stuff, but it's a real big pain in the butt to sell things at shows, and you're lucky to break even because by the time you pay to ship the product, by the time you pay to get the product in there, the union fees, moving things, building your booth, if you break even, you did very, very well. Then the only hope is that the people who purchased your product or sampled your product are going to come back and buy more. So it's kind of just a thing. It's also a posturing thing, right? Like back in the day, Optimum, Muscle Tech, and other brands would have a competition of whose penis is bigger by having these huge skyscraper booths. There's no way those things ever paid off. There's no way those things ever paid for themselves. But what they did is they asserted, look, I'm big, I'm bad, and I'm here to stay. And that's what it did. And usually if a new brand comes in with a big extravagant booth, 99% of the time, they end up going out of business. We used to have a game we played. We'd walk around before the Olympia, the Arnold started, because we have our exhibitor pass, we're just walking around. And we would actually point out and choose which brands would go out of business or not make it. And I'm pretty much 100% on point with it. One was the one that guy from Shark Tank invested in, was it Badass Nutrition? And the logo was a donkey. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. That's just whack. And it didn't work. It didn't work. I don't know. They might still be around. They really tried. They had that VC, that venture capitalist money. But at the end of the day, I think that when we're looking at how to best spend our marketing funds, we do like trade shows, and we might be doing some fit expos here and there. We might be doing other things, but I like to go out and do micro events, right? Like, for example, I visited over 70 vitamin shops this year, and I plan on hitting another 200 by the end of the year. That sounds daunting, but after my kid's done with football season, my daughter, who, by the way, today, you're going to be watching this tomorrow, Today, my daughter's team, they were 6 seeds, 6 out of 8. They weren't seeded very high. They're going to the semifinals for the state championship. They win 2 more games, they're state champions. Now, the odds are against them, but I got to be honest, I'm very proud of those girls. I've known them all the seniors since they were freshmen. To see them grow up and become these strong young women is just so awesome to watch. But I've had to take a break in traveling somewhat. Meaning that my store visits are down, but I've been averaging about 4 days of travel per week for the last 7 weeks. It's been a great stretch I've had, and we've accomplished a lot of things. But my trips, other than when we do activations like we did the commercial filming at the Hy-V's, because Outright Bar as well as Planta are in Hy-V, but I went there with the Planta team with Mike and Sean to get commercials because we're in Hy-V. So my trips right now are business meetings. I'm usually going presenting to distributors, large C-store, gas station distributors, different large change warehouse stores. We're presenting to those. And there's a lot of big wins we have. For example, December 25th, Planta officially launches into Sprouts. The Outright Bar has a huge C-store distributor just signed on board. We have Hy-V. That was a huge win. Working on a lot of big accounts I don't really want to announce right now, but there's going to be huge announcements. So at this time, the Olympia is just not the show for us. However, I really encourage you to, if we do have an event in your area, because we most likely will, or I'm in your area visiting stores or whatever, and you just want to say hi, meet up with us, that'd be great. As much as I love going to the Olympia, it's really not the right move for my family time, for my business's travel expense, all those things. So that's the reason I won't be going to the Olympia, but I will be watching the Olympia live stream. And I was talking to my buddy at the gym, Brian, and we were talking about who's going to win the Olympia. So here's my Olympia predictions, okay? My Olympia predictions, okay? And I guess I'll put this in the title of the video for clickbait. So I see Derek. I see Derek getting number 1. I don't see anybody beating Lunsford. That guy has had a year. Keep in mind, when he competed last time, he wanted to be 212 for a lot of the year. And then they said, okay, we can let this guy go open. I definitely see Derek getting number 1. Number 2, I think Samson. I think Samson's going to sneak in, get number 2. I think Hottie jumps into number 3. And I see Nick Walker. I said it. I see Nick Walker go into number 4. I think Nick has brought his waist down significantly. I think he's figured out his conditioning. And I think he's such a mass monster and a freak, but he's aesthetically pleasing to look at now that I would put him in 4th. As far as the rest of the lineup goes, it's really hard to judge. I think you always have those dark horses, right? Brandon Curry, I mean, if they're awarding aesthetics and they're awarding flow and just a beautiful physique, Brandon can sneak in there, You never know who's going to come on point, who's going to come in. With Rami being gone, it's crazy to even think that Rami's not there. But I'm really excited about this Olympia. It's just not the right move. And again, I want to see my son dominate a playoff game. And I'm just really enjoying my time now. Like last night, I flew out Monday night. I landed Monday night in California. I had a business meeting, and then I flew home. I got home at 1 a.m. last night. I was up at 4:30 a.m. to get I went to bed at like 2, got up at 4:30 a.m., got my lift in, and then I went and saw my daughter, win quarterfinals and state championships. It's really, I know a lot of you parents can kind of empathize. It's really hard. And I gotta give a shout out to the new CEO of one of my brands. She has 7 kids. And she operates at such a high level. And I'm like, I'm so just in awe of her ability to do it. 7 children, and she's managing and CEOing and just going out there killing it. And again, I've surrounded myself, and just this one just happened to fall into place, with people that influence me and inspire me every day to be better. And I'm just fortunate. I'm blessed. Like being able to work alongside Chad at Tiger Fitness, around Sean Torbati, around Mike Rashid, all these great people, Alan Roberts, he helps out with Ambrosia. I have such a good crew around me, and then I got great guys like Tyler and Lacey at Tiger Fitness. And, we just such a good group. Sylvia, I work with her at Ambrosia, like such a good group. And then the team at Brandless, which has just really been awe-inspiring. And I also just want to bring up, this might be a separate video. Like, for some reason, there's a lot of hatred towards my bodybuilding, because I tell people, like, I'm not on a lot of drugs, but some people think I'm on a lot of drugs. But then the next word out of their mouth is that I look terrible. Well, it's one or the other. Either I look like I'm on a lot of drugs, or I look terrible, or both, I guess. I don't know. But I really need to stop engaging in that. And also, I want to state for the record that I'm trying to stop cursing, and I failed miserably. I got so excited at my daughter's soccer game that I was blurring out F yes and all this, and just getting really excited. So I'm going to really try and curb down on my cursing too. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. I appreciate you watching. It's my top 5 Olympia, why I'm not going to the top 4 in the Olympia, why I'm not going to the Olympia. And again, if you support us, one thing I ask is that you go to tigerfitness.com. That's tigerfitness.com, the #1 sport nutrition website in the world, the #1 sport nutrition website in the USA, actually. The world might be a little much. USA. We can actually validate that. And we got everything. Creatine, protein. We carry hundreds of brands. So if you don't like MTS Nutrition for whatever reason, there's something wrong with your head. If you don't like the Outright Bar, if you don't like Ambrosia, if you don't like any of the brands we're a part of, it's cool. We carry Axe and Sledge. We carry Blackstone. We carry HPN. We carry Core. We carry all these great brands, and we would love for you to give us a chance. We have 2 warehouses, one on the West Coast, one in the Midwest. So we get everywhere in 1 to 2 days, most likely, right? You never know what FedEx is going to do. And check it out. Free shipping over $99. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm Marc Lobliner. That's not a game. The Outright Bar was created for my kids. My kids need a snack to eat during soccer tournaments, and also I wanted a bar for myself to eat pre-workout, post-workout, and also throughout the day. You want your Outright Bars right now. That's why we have a partnership going with the Vitamin Shop to make sure that we're in all 750 plus locations, providing the best price, the best service, the best people to give you the Outright Bar when and where you need it.